that we have in us was seeded from outside, was an intelligent entity involved in sort of flooding the earth with the genes that made humans. And I think that this is certainly a logical possibility.
Francis Crick wrote and promoted the idea that it was possible that DNA may have been seeded on this planet from another star system in a process known as directed panspermia.
Francis Crick comes up, of course, with the idea of directed panspermia as an explanation of an extraterrestrial civilization that shoots DNA, loads it up on a rocket, shoots it out into space, and this is the origin of human DNA. So this is Francis Crick himself.
The man who discovered DNA won the Nobel Prize for it. You don't get a greater authority than that.
Right. He said it was impossible that this could have happened spontaneously.
So, but are you talking about intervention in the middle of the evolution, or from the very beginning?
Both.
It's starting as a beginning.
Both. In my opinion, someone changed the genetic makeup in the humanoid species.
I'm glad you brought that up, Giorgio, because geneticists have discovered other types of hominins in our DNA, Denisovans and others.
In recent years, new discoveries in genetic research have profoundly altered the timeline of human evolution.
When you look at the evolution of humanity and the different species that have existed throughout time, early on we had a pretty simple story. We started with our ancestors, we split from chimpanzees and monkeys, the Homo sapien ancestors developed, and what confuses the story is, as we do more research in archaeology, we're discovering a wide range of different hominids.
Before modern humans occupied the Eurasian continent, there were two so-called archaic humans existing there. To the west and the central area, we had the Neanderthals. But from the central to the eastern part of the continent, we had the so-called Denisovans, and that there are a number of others.
Given the great diversity of the number of different species, how is it that Homo sapiens ended up the only one left?
Scientists now believe that dating back as much as 40,000 years ago, at least 8 human-like species existed on Earth at the same time. Scientists now believe that dating back as much as 40,000 years ago, at least 8 human-like species existed on Earth at the same time.
The discovery could be that the evolution of the humanoid primate on this planet is because of the genetic manipulation of extraterrestrial biological entities using this planet Earth like a laboratory.
This would suggest that some type of experimentation has been going on, because why would there all of a sudden be these brand new species that come along and then suddenly disappear again?
So the mystery deepens because at first we thought, based on Darwin, that because we came from primates, that we must also have 48 chromosomes just like primates. And then we discovered that that's not true, that humans have 46 chromosomes, 23 pairs. And that became a big mystery. What happened to the other two?
One principle that biologists generally agree on is that species which are closely related usually have the same number of chromosomes.
Chromosomes are long physical molecules that consist of a DNA strand. And when we talk about the genome, we're talking primarily about the DNA stored in the chromosomes.
Once the idea of evolution by descent caught hold, it was assumed traits would be shared between humans and other primates because of our common ancestry. So when it was discovered that humans actually have 46 chromosomes, that was surprising.
Some researchers believe that these missing chromosomes may hold the key to what causes human beings to behave differently and demonstrate
now we can alter and edit DNA so then it's passed on to future generations. So the point is that this is what defines us as humans, and it is definitely an intervention. It's an upgrade.
So essentially, we weren't necessarily created from scratch, but built upon and added from that which was already there. This is why I'm asking the questions, because I'm looking at ancient patterns, and we're seeing modern patterns. We're going through this right now.
There seems to be a project that we're the project.
Absolutely.
And they're aiming us towards an ultimate outcome.
Right. I've been working with hundreds of people for the last few years about their abduction experiences, and in my experience working with many individuals, the common denominator of the abductions, it has to do with some sort of genetic engineering and genetic combining of the DNA.
Thousands of people have reported being abducted by extraterrestrials. While such reports are rarely taken seriously, many researchers suggest that the accounts given by alleged abductees are too similar to dismiss and may reveal an extraterrestrial agenda. The first documented case of a reported alien abduction appeared in the Boston Traveler on October 25, 1965. According to the account, Betty and Barney Hill were driving through New Hampshire late at night when a large flying saucer rapidly approached them and then hovered over their car. The couple claimed that they'd been taken aboard the craft and were subjected to numerous medical experiments, including both eggs and sperm being taken. In the more than 5 decades since the Hills' compelling reported alien abduction, thousands of people have come forward with similar claims.
What's particularly notable is the fact that during alien abductions, people talk about blood, eggs, semen, cells, DNA taken from their bodies and essentially experimented on by these strange, short, black-eyed entities that have become known as the Greys.
The people that come to me don't know each other. So they're telling me all these different stories that are actually strikingly similar. Most of the time, extraterrestrials are doing some sort of genetic manipulation, taking eggs from the female or sperm if it's a male.
Well, sometimes these children and fetuses disappear from the mother, don't they? And they suddenly gone?
Yes.
There are cases like that, right?
Exactly. So these are kind of medical mysteries, anomalies.
One of the most shocking and disturbing accounts of extraterrestrial abduction involved a Las Vegas couple, Diane Swanson and Brett Holden, in 1987. At the time, Diane was almost 4 months pregnant with her first child.
We were asleep, and I don't know what time it was, but I was woken up, and when I sat up, our bedroom door was open, and there were these 3 entities looking over the door, so I thought it was a dream, and you know how you're so scared, you just go, and then it went black. And then I woke up, and I was on this ice cold metal bed, and then I was strapped down, but I couldn't move. And then that's when I realized they were doing something to me. And I remember just calling, just saying, please don't take my baby, don't hurt us. I woke up the next morning in my own bed, and I was covered in blood. Brett rushed me to my doctor's office, and he took us in right away, and he thought I had miscarried, but he wasn't sure. He gave me an examination, and he was very perplexed. He told us that there was no evidence of me ever being pregnant, and he said that was crazy because he had just saw me the week before.
The sudden disappearance of the 4-month-old fetus baffled many in the medical community.
What you have here is a ultrasound image of a 3-month fetus, and this fetus here is lying on its back, and if you measure what we call crown rump length, and that would be the longest distance from the head to the rump, this area here, this is approximately
extraterrestrials? And if so, what would be the purpose?
I believe they took my child that night. I believe it with all my heart that they took my child. I believe that they're testing on us. I believe that they are. And I wonder sometimes, do they have some kind of plan for that behavior?
Some researchers suggest that Diane's story, when considered alongside the many strikingly similar accounts of abductees being subjected to medical experiments, may provide evidence of an extraterrestrial agenda.
We believe that they are creating hybrids on craft, that they began with the Greys, and they combined human genetics through some kind of gene splicing. When I say hybrids, I mean that the genetic material has been altered and upgraded, and perhaps some of the ET's genetic material has been inserted.
From these children who you say have been taken in the little hybrids, have we identified any of them that we can look at?
Yes, I've been doing a lot of research in that field. I mean, I've been working with some children that seem to have special abilities. So I believe that there are extraterrestrial species that are upgrading the DNA. I think the extraterrestrial intervention has to do with supporting evolution and growth. There's some sort of agenda going on because after this abduction experience, the person comes back upgraded.
So are you saying then that these children have these greater abilities, psychic abilities, and stuff like that?
Exactly. I mean, that's what I believe is happening.
Throughout the world, scientists and researchers have been baffled by numerous cases of children who display astonishing and inexplicable extrasensory abilities. Often referred to as star children by ancient astronaut theorists, some researchers suggest they have been genetically modified to possess heightened intuition and even psychic abilities.
Our kids are advanced in several departments. These kids, by and large, are much brighter than the old school child of a previous generation. They're using special gifts they have as advanced star kids. For example, in the area of telepathy, they can pick up on things that somebody else is thinking or sensing.
In 1982, the Chinese government launched a nationwide search for children with psychic abilities such as telekinesis, telepathy, and clairvoyance. In total, Chinese officials identified more than 1,000 children who possessed what researchers refer to as extra-human function. Might further study of these incredible abilities reveal, as some ancient astronaut theorists suggest, that they are the result of extraterrestrial manipulation of the human genome.
So what is making these children to be alien hybrids?
If we looked at their DNA, we would see it would be different than ours? Or is that kind of what you're saying?
They would have a normal human DNA plus added information. I believe that part of our DNA has to do with our super sensory abilities. We cannot see those abilities in the normal part of the DNA. But then you look at why certain people can do certain things. I mean, we have people who can move objects with their mind. We have people who can be completely blindfolded and are able to reprogram their brains entirely to be able to see without their eyes and so on and so forth.
In her 2018 documentary film, Superhuman, The Invisible Made Visible, renowned futurist Caroline Corey investigated a group of children who demonstrate incredible extrasensory capabilities. In one segment, Caroline tested the children's ability to positively identify objects and images while wearing blindfolds that completely block out all light.
Tell me what's on this card.
Tick-tock.
And now tell me what's on this card.
Tongue.
Isabella, what is the shape and color of this tongue?
Kind of like a 700, and it's not really, it's kind of like see-through.
Evie, tell me the shape and color of this tongue.
It's red and kind of a circle.
Yes. Evie, tell me what I'm holding in my hand. There's a study that was done where scientists were able to demonstrate that DNA is actually receiving information from the external environment. The environment literally is changing the information in the genetic code at a DNA level. All sorts of informational waves are being transmitted into our being. That said, a telepathic communication, for example, could also be a type of wave that we are receiving, even at a DNA level. We could literally be communicating with non-physical beings, transmitting this information to us through our DNA. I think we are born with these abilities. We're not taught that we have them. How is that possible for a human to all of a sudden be able to do these superhuman things? I think it is because part of our DNA is what's responsible.
Perhaps we're being altered genetically in order to advance the race beyond what is transpired.